Deputy Jennifer Carroll McNeill, sharing with Deputy Michael Creed.
4 minutes, is that right? Thank you very much, Cathaoirleach, and thank you, Minister, and congratulations, and thank you for your work on behalf of Ireland recently, which was really very important. 4 minutes, I just want to prioritise discussing wind energy, specifically offshore wind energy in particular. And there are 2 points that I really want to highlight. The first is the proposal in my own constituency, or near my own constituency, for the Kish and Bray banks. And there are a number of, which I just want to make very clear that I support the offshore wind energy completely and totally. The opportunity for cheaper electricity prices, for energy security, and for the real shift away from fossil fuels to renewable sources, to my mind, is an absolute no-brainer. But what I want to acknowledge is that when the proposal was put forward first, I, like everybody else who has seen it, had lots of questions. Questions like, why do you have to put it there? Could you not put it further out? What about the impact on the seabed? Should I be concerned about that? How will the energy come back? And these are all natural questions that people have in any case, but particularly with a big physical change. And so my approach and that of the Fine Gael party has been to try and get as much information and provide as much information in a very factual way to people. So they're located there because, you know, there's a deep sea channel in the Irish Sea, which makes it difficult to put things further out. People raise questions like, well, I've seen in Denmark, for example, there's fixed turbines that are 80 kilometres out. Why can't we do that here? And the reason is because there's a deep sea shipping channel, which is why Dublin Port is where it is. But these are all reasonable questions to ask, but people deserve answers to them also. On the biodiversity side, there was a lot of concern around that by local coastal groups, and it's always important to raise all of the different concerns. But I note I got very, very good answers both from the department in relation to that, the Department of Marine, but also then I went further. I spoke with the Climate Change Advisory Council in relation to it, and indeed to the very excellent Yvonne Buckley in Trinity College Dublin, who have done significant studies in relation to the opportunity for new ecosystem development at the base of fixed turbines. And it's clear to me from that body of research that there's, first of all, it doesn't, the question doesn't take account of the biodiversity impact of the status quo and the failure to shift from fossil fuels to renewables. But secondly, it's very clear from the emerging evidence that these new topographies on the seabed create their own space, free from shipping, free from other interferences, where there are new ecosystems that can develop, and that's actually a significant opportunity. And so, as far as I can see from the academic research, in addition, going beyond what's provided by the government departments, is that it's very firmly favourable. Can I just move to the offshore wind energy piece, Minister? And obviously we have the most significant opportunity off the west coast in particular in relation to the floating wind energy. The one concern in particular that I want to mention within my time is questions around security of it. It's not apparent to me from a policy perspective that we're having a conversation around the security aspect either of it, either in terms of delivery or in terms of design considerations at this point. The Garda Síochána 2004 Act shows that the Gardaí have jurisdiction onto the continental shelf, but we do need a policy conversation about how that's going to work and where security is going to be vested and whether that's in the defence forces or not just for physical security but also as a crisis response. It's obvious that from the attack by rogue regimes in the Baltic on Gazprom that these new pieces of infrastructure could themselves become the targets of rogue regimes, of disruption to the European energy grid, the Irish energy grid. And it's very, very important that conversations are held now with developers, with designers, and indeed at a government level about how we're going to manage the physical security around offshore floating wind. I think I'm out of time, Cathaoirleach. Thank you. I'll just make one other point. I appreciate that. I mean, Ireland has the opportunity to be the centre of gravity in Europe for this offshore wind energy. It's nothing but an opportunity. But I do worry that we're not going to, being frank, we're not going to meet our 2030 targets of 7 gigawatts. But we should press on anyway because the opportunity is so significant. And once I think that machine starts going and developers start to see trapped electrons really coming on shore, it's just going to accelerate and expedite. But the one policy piece that I would press with you, Minister, is a conversation now, not later, about physical security and how we build that into design and permission stage.